in this demo, we're going to have some fun with nested for loops. What do we mean by nested for loops? Well, in this case, we mean one loop inside of another. We're going to have two loops working together. Let me show you how this works. We're going to have an outside loop and an inside loop. So let's create some loop control variables. I'd call outside loop control, and inside loop control. We're not going to initialize these quite yet. Now let's set up our loops. Outside loop for, we don't have to declare it because we already have, so we say outside loop control equals 0. And then again, we have our comparison, so as long as outside loop control is less than, you know what, let's do 13 just for fun. And then outside loop control ++. All right, now let's open up the first loop. Now it's already indented. Let's create the second loop for, and then inside loop control, again, equals 0. Inside loop control less than 13. And what you're going to see here is we're going to create a bit of a multiplication table here. And now we're going to open the inside of the loop. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply each loop control variable to create a little bit of a table. So what we're going to do here is we're going to build a string, and let's create a couple extra variables here. Let's create a string variable. Let's call it S. Set it to null. And let's create a temp integer. And we'll set it to 0 just to be on the safe side. Now, what we're going to do first inside our inner loop is we're going to say temp equals inside loop control times outside loop control. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a string so we can put a bunch of things in the list box at one time. So we're going to say here S equals S plus, now we want a little bit of space between things, so let's put a space here, plus temp dot toString. Now what this is going to do inside this loop is, and we'll just close this loop right here. Inside this inner loop, we're going to create a string. So first time it's going to be, of course, 0 times 0, so we'll get a bunch of zeros. But we'll put that string into our list box. And let's take a look at S. We don't have to do any toString. And now let's clear out S for the next line. And now we're going to close the outer loop. So what we have here is an inner loop that basically multiplies the inside loop control variable by the outside and builds a string with a bunch of numbers. At the end of that, in the outer loop, we display that line and reset the value. So we should have some number of lines when we display this. Let's take a look at how this works. Boom. There we go. All zeros here, and you'll see that this is 1 times tables and down to the 9 times tables, all the way down to the 12 times tables. Now, the top row and the side column, they don't look quite right. We'll take a look at that in our next demo when we talk about using if statements inside nested blocks of code. That's it for this demo. Please keep a look for the next one. Thank you.